Hello, everybody on Side by Side. I couldn't be more excited today to introduce to you, and we will call it Flash on Clash interview, Mr. Chad Eisner. Hello. Hello, Chad.
Oh, good to see you.
So Chad Eisner, based in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is the president of Terra Prime Light Armory. It's a newly founded nonprofit organization focused on developing and promoting the LAD, the lightsaber fencing in USA. He's also the official ambassador to the French Fencing Federation for LED Saber in the USA. Actually, the French Fencing Federation made the lightsaber sanctioned weapon. So congratulations on that.
that was the big deal. And what, about a year ago, January, it hit Reuters took it up, and then all of a sudden it just exploded. So
it did. It was very colorful. It was very glamorous. So tell me more about how you felt about that sanctioning of that lightsaber weapon.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's beyond what we ever dreamed would happen with this thing. We've and we'll get into that, of course. But
yeah,
me and my buddy started this, it was just a way to get different people from different types of traditions to be able to play together, and it just kind of ballooned out from there. And so, yeah, when one of our guys have been working with the FFE for a good four years now. And
wow.
yeah, so it hit the news last year, but it's been in process for quite some time.
It's been in the works. And how long have you been doing lightsaber fencing?
Well, we've been doing it since 2012, so about 8 years now, going on 9. And again, like I said, what it was is me and my friend, who is a HEMA practitioner. I'm from Chinese martial arts and weapons arts and stuff like that, and there's no real way for me to play. We do other things.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of free sparring or bouting, so I would have to go to the HEMA club to get that in. And we just decided we wanted something where people wouldn't have to necessarily change their kind of outlook and just do what they already know how to do. And so we were experimenting for a while, since 2010. And in 2012, we came across these, the LED lights.
Oh, look at that.
Now they have an aluminum hilt, polycarbonate blade, and the big thing was you can fight with them.
Wow.
So,
and are they breakable? Like when you do that, are they breakable? Are they right now?
I mean, yes, they're not. Obviously, they're not indestructible.
Yeah.
But polycarbonate is an unbelievably strong and stalwart material. After a while, these may you may get some breaks or something like that in there, or if you use them improperly. But generally, they're very very tough, and that was the big thing. And also, these blades are removable.
Wow. So can you show us one more time when it was like flashing red? It was very nice and colorful on screen.
Yeah, we have, this is a red one here.
Okay.
They come in pretty much any color,
So you get to pick your color. You can have whichever color: pink for girls, blue for boys.
Yeah, pink is tough. Pink will just probably be like a kind of a lighter red.
Okay.
But we do have purple.
Okay.
And then there's all kinds of mixing that you can do with the different LEDs that are in it.
Correct.
The very, very simple construction you have. This is just basically a flashlight. There's an LED right here. There's a switch right here. The battery goes in there, and then it screws in there. And there's like a little film in there to make it glow. Yep. But other than that, it's very simple, and they're very inexpensive. So to replace a blade is $30-$40. If you make them yourself, it's even cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
For us, when we would break a weapon, it would be, you know, hundreds of dollars that you'd have
Yep.
to do to replace that weapon. So that was another great thing. But again,
Beautiful.
the thing is like anybody can pick up a lightsaber if they're a
Mm-hmm.
fencer, if they're from kendo, if they're
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and we have a place that we can kind of come together with.
Beautiful. And those batteries are rechargeable, or you actually plug in the battery, or does it need a specific battery?
Yeah, so it depends on how expensive you get. Most of sabers right now will have a rechargeable lithium-ion battery like this.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's green because it's reflecting the background.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, so it's not an invisible battery.
Looks
Would be
still looks
cool.
fancy, like Mercury, you know, just just
Yeah,
took the color of
right. Yeah. Cloaking technology. But yes, so lithium ion battery. I don't necessarily. I don't think I have
It's okay.
a non-green one,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, you either put it in a charger,
Mm-hmm.
or some sabers have a recharge port in the bottom. So this
Okay.
is a more kind of fancy saber that was
Really?
custom made just for me.
Custom made. Like it
And
looks like a French grip with the curvature of the handle that would fit your hand.
yes, it's similar to a French grip or a canted grip.
A little bit
But
thicker.
yeah, but where I'm coming from, it's actually like
Oh.
a Chinese saber, right? So
Wow. Okay.
that's what
Yes.
mine was based on.
Beautiful.
So, but the battery doesn't come out in this one. You have to charge
Charge
it up.
it. Let's go back again with the history and your Chinese history with the martial arts. When did you start? What made you passionate about it and continue to do the martial arts and then evolve it into a change, a world change in history of the weapons?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, ever since I was a kid, I've loved sword fighting. Right, my hero, one of my heroes growing up was Zorro. I loved, you know, watching all of those serials, all of those movies, everything like that. The idea of sword fighting just appealed to me. It's romantic. It's, you know, pirate movies and
Writing your initials on the body of the lover, you know, with that
exactly all
taking the
all that
clothes.
great stuff, right? Swinging from trees and rafters and
Yeah.
helping the poor and all
Oh
that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so obviously I've had this love growing up. Now I was very sick when I was growing up. I have pediatric asthma, so I was not able to do a whole lot. So when I finally was kind of grew up and grew out of it, I started taking martial arts immediately. I started in Tai Chi Chuan, which is of course the slow moving one, and then I just kind of kept going, and I'm stayed pretty much in the Chinese martial arts right now. My current teacher right now is Ma Yue, who's from Ma Shi Tongbei, which is one of the biggest kung fu families in China. His father, Ma Xianda, is one of the people who built up the sport of Wushu, which you see out there, being as a competition now. So that tradition is really feeding into this too, because I'm from a very traditional background that is also very forward looking. So they're always looking for new things. And Ma Xianda incorporated Western boxing and wrestling and judo and Western fencing, all of that stuff into the thing. So into the training program. So I'm from a background which is very forward looking and is always looking for ways to kind of increase popularity of this and keep this going. And that's one thing that's in the Chinese milieu, is that we feel almost like a duty, an obligation to carry out these traditions and to teach more and more people.
And let me ask you this, were you in China or was he residing in the US? Because I don't think online really did exist at that time.
Yes, exactly. So, right. So he actually was living in England. So I would bring him in to the United States, and he would stay here for,
Beautiful.
to a month. And then kind of go back. He is in China right now. And obviously with the whole pandemic going on, everything's up in the air. So, but yeah, I'm still in contact with him. We're still going out there on the blog. I still talk about that.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so that's.
And I also saw that the asthma or the pediatric asthma didn't stop you. And this is something that I always use to recruit fencers, how fencing and martial arts and sword fighting is not stopped by diabetes, asthma, or any pediatric illness, even mental ones, even ADD or dyslexia or because it actually stimulates the body, stimulates the brain. How interesting and exciting! And I'm passionate about fencing, you know that. So I will definitely push all the parents who struggle with their children because they think they're not capable of doing athletics or basketball or soccer or American football. They can definitely do fencing, sword fighting, and martial arts, and it does not stop them.
No, and in fact, that's one of the reasons why we do the lightsaber, because we want to get more and more people in it. And there is a stigma to martial arts. There's this thing, people don't necessarily like it. When I hand somebody even even if I hand them this poly sword or whatever, the first thing they ask me is it sharp or is it real?
Yeah.
Both mean, will it hurt me?
Yes.
When I hand them this, they start quoting the movie and making sounds and waving it around. So you take that fear and that stigma off of it, which allows people to get into it. The breathing aspect of martial arts and fencing, the fitness aspect of it, the type of cardio, the type of access, that's all really great. I mean, for my asthma, that short burst type of thing is where I can exist. I can't do marathons. I can't do anything like that. But I can work this. And everything in martial arts is geared towards me regulating that breath to last a little bit longer than the other person. And of course, we're talking minutes here because we're exerting ourselves for full on. But like you said, it doesn't stop you. If you have diabetes, if you have asthma, if you have any of these, things, get your kid into it as early as possible. Because if I would have done this even earlier, I probably would have been in a better spot now because I would have been able to develop with it. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But and then with the mental thing, like you said, it's one of the very few activities that's both physical and mental at the same time, where you have to constantly think, especially with fencing, and you have to think so fast. It's like that, and you have the physical demands on it too. So I think it's perfect for that, and it's like you said, it's nothing will hinder it.
Beautiful. And how did the transit happen from the Chinese martial arts to your next step?
So in 2010, my friend Matt Fulton and I, who we run Terra Prime together, were, like I said, we were trying to find a way that we could, play together without having to, do things. Now, at the time, these types of poly weapons did not exist. It was like wooden wasters. There were some plastic ones out on the market, but they were very, very bad. Yeah. They didn't work well. And so we kept looking and looking for it. And then I saw a documentary called Jedi Junkies, which showed a group called New York Jedi, who kind of started the big thing over here, but they were mostly choreography. Regardless, they were using these sabers that, like I said, you could fight with, and I was like, oh my God. So I got myself 2 of them, and me and Matt immediately put on our gear and started messing around with them, and it would been an ideal thing. So what we wanted to do too is, as we were looking at other lightsaber videos out there, most of these people were not coming from martial arts backgrounds or that. There were a few of them are actually now involved with us now. So
wow.
there you go. But there were very few of those, and there wasn't a lot of information that was giving you good, solid information on like safety or technique, you know, or anything like that. So people were just kind of going around in there. We wanted to bring that there, so we started making the videos online and doing our YouTube channel. That YouTube channel was originally there for our camps that I was doing with kids, so that they could access those things, and then they just kind of blew up on the internet.
And you have a great crowd of followers. You've got more than 20,000 followers and subscribers on that YouTube channel, attracting attention from all over the world. It started with the camps, like you were saying, and then evolved into these videos recorded for the lightsaber. Then, did you start putting together like videos for the moves, like what the moves are, the signals, and all that? How were you able to create? Because you are the person who put together the seed for that lightsaber, and their moves and their rules coming up and their actions and equations and all that.
Right. So that was the issue, was like we wanted to take like what we have and create a system that could teach people from nothing, you know, from zero to hero, as you say. And
Nice.
what we wanted to do is just boil things down. What are the basic common skills that you need for any of this? Because there's tons of, we were trying to kind of boil things down to the most common techniques that you need for swordplay, whatever you wanted to do, and use that as a way to kind of get people into the traditional ones, the ones that, you know, people are a little more intimidated with. So like and then we used the format that they kind of put down in the comic books and video games and stuff. Have progression. And so I created this progression. It's still in process. I mean, obviously this is a very large subject, so we're constantly adding things to it and expanding it. But the basics of it all, basic footwork, basic weapon handling, all of that kind of stuff, we've organized that into a system where you can kind of delineate different things that are not based on country of origin or style, right? What they're used for. For example, the material that I used for our first form, Shicho, the thing we give all of our beginners, is a two-handed form, because it's you know, we're dealing a lot with beginners who haven't handled a weapon, so holding it in two hands is easier, and then letting go. That's all based on like battlefield stuff. So moving in formations, you're not fighting alone. It's not just one person. So it's more of like, here, I have to make my techniques good. I have to keep pushing forward. I have to develop these skills. Now, obviously, if we're dealing with the competitive thing, that first form is going to teach beginners the most important thing, which is stop backing up, engage the opponent. That's the most important thing. When you get to the second form, now you get into what was specifically for dueling another single person. So single combat, which is an entirely different kind of game. Now you know where your opponent is. They're right in front of you. Your challenge is to get past their defenses without letting them past yours. Right? And so that whole thing is set up for that. Then we have learning the basics of, or learning more defensive techniques, and then learning more offensive techniques. That's our basic progression to start out with. After that, then you get into more of the instructor material, which is more, you know, making things your own and creating new drills and stuff. But all of that before that is meant to kind of cover people's bases, right? So even if you're coming from another style, like we've people who've come from Japanese styles, where that first form is just, it's like falling out of bed for them, right? Fencers, on the other hand, have a little bit of difficulty because it's a totally different type of biomechanics. And then vice versa with the second form, right? Fencers get to the second form and like, haha, this is my wheelhouse, right? And kendo people are like, ooh, this is really hard. You know, so it's nice because for a martial artist like me and my friend, it allows us to explore other people's, stuff. It gives us challenges that we may not have given ourselves before. So even
You've
from a
literally like attracted a bit of the attractive part of every style. So like you're saying, from the Chinese and the Japanese and the fencing, and again, you're saying you're putting together the rules. Fencing have been there for hundreds and hundreds of years. Until this day, they're still updating the rules, So putting together rules, it's the normal thing. That's the progression. That you're on the right track. so it will grow into becoming definitely a very strong sanctioned sport all over the world. I'm very excited for that as well. So the schools, like, how do you, like, you spoke about how do you instruct fencers or combats, how do you instruct them to become lightsaberists? But for instructors, for coaches, I also know that you have put together a course for interested people to become instructors, correct?
Yes, yeah. So if you go through our system, and go through all of this, we have what calls an achievement system, where you go through the different sections of the things and you just kind of get a stamp on that.
How many levels? How many levels?
There's 4 levels to start with. We call these our 4 pillars, right? And this is basically encompasses all the basics.
Okay.
Right. So everything that you need for the basics. You get to form 5, and that's our instructor level form, right? Where you're now taking everything that you learn from those first 4, and you're going to start combining it in novel ways, right? And there's a couple of different methods that we do that. But the whole point is that when we certify an instructor at that level, they know our system, those first four pillars, like the back of it, right? That's one of our concerns, is that when people are instructing, that they do have a good handle on what we're doing. Now, the nice thing about it is that we have instructors from Wing Chun, from Kendo, from all these other fencing, all these other places, and everybody can do the same thing. So that's good. Now, if you're in a school, like going to a school, it will probably run as that school normally runs. If you're learning from us online, we have a forum where people will submit videos. We then critique them and either pass them or fail them on that video.
And let me break the news here that we will be doing together online sessions for side-by-side community for the lightsabers, right? Yay! I'm looking forward to be your first side-by-side player.
Absolutely, I am as well. This is what we do it for.
Yep. Yeah. So I love how you have it leveled, and then taking it step at a time, with becoming a player, then becoming an instructor, and then evolving that. Is there a difference between recreational and competitive, or like after school program? I know the limits. Like, I give after school programs, and I know that some fencers say, I just want to stop there, or when am I starting my new tournament? So it's upon their request, we can call it, or their drive, or their family, if they're looking forward for a competition or not. It's something that they're not really aware of. Where would it take them? It's like a black hole, Right. But if they understand about scholarship, about schools, about colleges, then they get interested and excited, and there's future for it. There's competition, there's world champions, and so forth. So what are the tiers for lightsaber?
Okay, so for
like recreational or competitive right now, like, are you, and I know it's everything in the works and under construction, but are you preparing to have recreational part, competitive part, and so forth?
Right. So for right now, the instructors that we are certifying right now are instructors in what we call the martial art, which means it's the whole thing. You can apply that to anything you want. You can apply it to competitive play. You can apply it to recreational. You can apply it to whatever you want. We are starting certifications for both referees and coaches of specifically the FFE system, right? Which will be basically certifying just in the game. So that's also an option. The way that we separate our students right now, our online students, is we have students, right, who are basically just following along. They get some feedback here or there. There's not a whole lot of pressure. And then we have apprentices. And apprentices are actually members of our organization who are doing stuff with us. They run clubs. They do this. And they're the ones that are training to become instructors, right? So we only have a limited number of apprentices at any one time because we pair people with instructors, so they're getting one-on-one stuff. As we move forward, obviously the coaching and the refereeing and all that kind of stuff is going to be a different, different thing. Probably is going to be a little bit less expansive, but there you go. And we actually have a workshop this weekend on Saturday, which is introducing those rules. So anybody that wants to get interested in the rules will.
Yes. So we'll share with them the registration link as well if they want to attend. I'm looking forward to attend myself, of course. I want to go back to a few sentences ago where I just want to say it's a great initiation from the FFE that they're supporting building this with the putting the coaches program, putting the referees program, and identifying it, because this is the hardest part. Like creating the foundation and the infrastructure for this is the hard. And I from my position here, I'm inviting all the federations to start hand in hand and side by side putting together programs for this, and we will show them, and if they reach out to us, they can also help introduce this great sport to all their interested players as well. So
absolutely, yeah. It's a great way to add immediate interest in your club or your school. Coming back from the pandemic, we're going to need to get people into the doors, and you can get if you have a storefront or you have a window, invest in some lightsabers, because you will get people walking from blocks away. They can see those things. You see these things, right? People will stop their cars. I mean, if we're practicing out in the park, it's
while you're saying it, I want you to flash the weapon one more time, and just put it out there. And then we're going to discuss how they can start ordering the vendor. I know Absolute, you're working with Absolute, who is my sole vendor partner in this, and I know he's yours as well. So when and if fencers are interested or players are interested, how to approach and how to learn to purchase the right equipment, or how to even put them together and stuff like that. So how can you explain?
Yeah, so we will have a page on our website which will have where to go for all these resources. Absolute will be on there. A couple of other companies that we use for protective gear. Now, Absolute, we generally use Absolute the most for like fencing helmets and masks and stuff like that, because they're they're here. I know some other people, and if you're in Europe, there is different availability. But anyway, we'll put that up there. We also have a couple of vendors for lightsaber. There are a lot of vendors of lightsaber out there. It's very hit or miss. This has been a very amateur run thing for this. Now, not to say that's not, I mean amateur as in people who are not doing this for a living. They are the work they do is beyond what you usually get for money. But there are hiccups. Sometimes it takes a long time to get it from some places, from the more popular places. Some of the quality starts to go down. So we have some places that we can recommend. If you're in the United States right now, we recommend Ingchow Sabers. This is one of their sabers here. This would be great for competition. It's very simple. There's nothing to it. It's just the light. There's no flash on there. It has a 4-inch depth here, so that's very secure in there. It brings the blade to regulation length. and if you need to repair it, they actually have everything kind of in this. This is basically the entire lightsaber.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is the light right
And
there.
like you said, it does look like a flashlight, and then stuff built upon it.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah. And I want to
Now,
tell
if you
everybody watching us that we're going to be speaking in details about the equipment and about the measurements and the length, like you said, the competitive length in our side-by-side sessions. So we're going to dig deeper in the details and the technicalities of the lightsaber, as well as the rules. So you guys follow
yeah,
us and you'll get the schedule.
that's a deep subject too. So.
Yeah, we'll go through it thoroughly, and I was excited to hear it from you, and I want everybody else to hear it as well.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Okay, one more thing before we go off of that. If you are in Europe and you're looking for a source for lightsabers, we recommend Elegant Weapons out of France. They were making a lot of the weapons for the FFE, but they make great
wow.
products. And that's what this one is. This is the Elegant Weapon. So there you go. So if you're in the United States, I would recommend Ing Chow, and then we'll have some more vendors on the site later.
Yep.
And if you're in Europe, Elegant Weapons.
And like we discussed, I'll be helping you with the Middle East and the African side as well, to spread both the European and the American vendors. So that spread on this side of the ocean, I'll take care of that. While I'm visiting home right now, so people would see the background, they would know that I'm at my mama's house. Yeah. So I'm looking forward, Chad, to spread that sport all over the world. And by us doing that, this is our first channel, first meet, first interview together, but definitely not our last. Also, I want you to tell us what you're currently working on now to start building for the future. So what's in the works?
Well, like I said, we have we've been expanding. We just incorporated as a nonprofit, as an official nonprofit. So we've just kind of become official. We are obviously expanding the website. We were trying to start workshops in the rule set this year, but obviously things have taken a different turn. So now we're doing the online stuff. So if you go to our website and go to our YouTube channel, we've got lots of online classes that are happening, lots of that stuff. Like I said, we have that workshop this weekend, which we'll talk about. But we're also obviously continuing to expand our system. And right now, a lot of our energy is going into creating the certifications for coaches and refs, so that once we start getting into this, we can start having our competitions and getting everybody there.
And I'll be sharing the links of the YouTube, the website, and the registration link on the status of the interview that will be posted on Side by Side, and we'll share it with all our community so they can access the information and videos that you have recorded as well. Very good. So what's your next event and that you have been preparing for?
Well, it's the workshop this weekend, and then of course what we are planning on doing here. So that's what's on the plate right now.
So I have another breaking news, everybody. So we're going to add a lightsaber event in the side-by-side internationally or global event that we have. We will have the registration close on the Fencing World Day, September 12th. So that's very exciting news that we have an extra new exciting event added for the lightsabers, so that we will give a few sessions before the tournament, so that fencers or players who are interested to join, they can learn, then they can join the tournament. So looking forward for that. That's another breaking news. Very exciting.
Yeah, we'll give the kind of the basics. Everything everybody needs to get started. Learn. It won't be too much, but it will be enough that you can
beautiful
use and combine.
Excellent, excellent. So do you want to tell the world anything else, Chad, before we leave them here to end our lovely interview?
Well, I encourage everybody to get involved with this. I think like I said, as people who started this, as fans, and as people who just like doing this stuff, it's great to be involved in this huge expansion of what's going on. I think it's really exciting. I've been in athletics. My dad's was the Michigan tennis coach for a long time. So,
Wow.
you know, new sports coming up doesn't happen a whole lot. So we're very, very excited over here. Obviously, I'm glad that you are. It's great to meet you, and it's great to be connected to all these people.
Thank you.
Yeah, everybody in France, Terra Prime, Cedric Guru, our guy in there, Olivier Dia, everybody out there. We've met all this time. It's just been a whirlwind of great times, and I hope it moves forward. I mean, it's helped us a lot, and I think it will do good for other people too.
I want to thank you, Chad, for this lovely interview. Thank you for being on Side by Side, and looking forward for our sessions, tournaments, events, and many more to come. Absolutely. Anybody wants to find us, just go to TerraPrimeLightArmory.com. Yes. There. So we had Chad Eisner from Ann Arbor, Michigan, here with us on Side by Side. Bye, Chad. Right. Have a good one. Thank you. Great to be here.